Hey everybody, it's spooky season, so I thought I would make a video that kind of goes with that theme. Right now, I'm on Mary Angela Road in Memphis, Tennessee, and this is the spot where people say there's a Voodoo Village. That's right. The Voodoo Village was a popular kind of Memphis urban legend going back to the 1960s, 70s, and up until now. If you're not familiar with Voodoo Village, you're probably not from Memphis, and that's okay, I'll fill you in. Where back in the 60s, a guy named Washington Harris opened a church here on his property behind me, and he called it St. Paul's Spiritual Temple. And he was also a 33rd degree Freemason. He decorated his property, this temple area, with all types of colorful sculptures, buildings, wooden artwork. Rumors began to spread that Washington Harris, or Chief Harris as they called him, was actually some type of voodoo priest, and he was conducting animal sacrifice and other kind of evil spiritual practices. So it became kind of a thing in Memphis and back in the 60s where teenagers, if they didn't have anything else to do on a weekend night, they would drive by Voodoo Village and kind of check it out. And as you can imagine, this spiritual temple, which at one point had up to 60 congregants, they were not so pleased with all this attention that they got. And so rumors also began to spread that if you drove down by Voodoo Village late one night, the people of this temple, this congregation, would try to pull you out of your car or block you in. As you can see, it's actually a dead-end road. So people would drive down the road here, Mary Angela, and they would come back where I'm standing right now to turn around. If you turned around here, tried to make your way back out, well, you were gonna have a problem because they were gonna block you in and try to pull you out of your car and maybe have you as some type of sacrifice. Of course, most of these rumors are just exactly that, urban legends. Washington Harris died in 1995, but he continued to upkeep this property, again known as Voodoo Village, but to him it was just St. Paul's Spiritual Temple. And after he died, his son James Harris took over the property, and to my knowledge he lives there to this day. I was actually a policeman down in this area some years ago, and one day I pulled over James Harris without knowing who he was, and I saw his license and his address, and I said, "Are you related to the gentleman who owned Voodoo Village?" And he said, "Yes, I am." And I just asked him a few questions about it, and he said he was just really into Freemasonry, his father, of course, and he said he never really was into any type of voodoo practices or anything like that. So anyways, that was his version of the story. And no, I did not write him a ticket. So we're heading back out now to Shelby Drive from the dead end of Mary Angela, and on the left hand side here you're gonna see Voodoo Village. You can see a school bus back there. Now, if you look really hard back there, I never noticed this till now, really hard back there, you'll see a school bus. And the rumor was, can you see that? I'm not sure it's picking up. The rumor was that if you drove down here to the dead end, by the time you turned around, they would take a school bus and block your way out, and then you were in trouble. So I never noticed that there's actually a school bus on this property. Security cameras. See some classic cars back there. Look at that cross. I don't know if you can pick it up down there through the trees, but it's interesting. All right, that was fun. This is a classic case, I think. I don't mean to burst anybody's bubble here, but this is a classic case of people not understanding something or something that's a little bit unusual, and because they don't understand it, they fill in the blanks with something that's really more interesting than it really is. So it's way more interesting to think that this place, there's some weird animal sacrifices or maybe even human sacrifices going on back here, and that Chief Harris is up to no good. Now, it is a fact that he was arrested a couple times in the 60s, and I think one of the charges, according to my book Haunted Memphis, was like practicing faith healing without a license. He was charged $100 for that. He was charged a couple times for that. So I wonder how much of that had to do with the fact that this place was getting unwanted attention. But yeah, kind of much ado about nothing, in my opinion. But it is part of Memphis lore. It's part of the urban legends here in Memphis. So there it is, Voodoo Village.